Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves for what may be the most shocking, seismic, earth-shattering moment in modern NFL history. I can barely believe the words coming out of my mouth right now, but it is official. Patrick Mahomes, the face of the Kansas City Chiefs, the two-time league MVP, three-time Super Bowl champion, and arguably the greatest quarterback talent of our generation, has been traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, you heard that right. Patrick Mahomes is now the starting quarterback of America's team. Let that sink in. This isn't just a transaction. This is a generational shift, a tectonic plate-level movement in the NFL landscape. For years, fans have speculated, joked even, about what would happen if Mahomes ever left Kansas City. And now, that hypothetical has become reality. Reports confirmed early this morning that the Chiefs and the Cowboys finalized a historic blockbuster trade that will send Mahomes to Dallas in exchange for 3 first-round picks, star linebacker Micah Parsons, and quarterback Dak Prescott. That's not just a trade, it's a full-scale NFL earthquake. And now the entire league is scrambling to process the implications of what just happened. First, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. A franchise built on a legacy of dominance in the 1990s, a team with one of the most passionate fanbases in sports, and an ownership group that has craved Super Bowl relevance for over 2 decades. After years of playoff heartbreaks, one-and-done exits, and lingering doubts about whether Dak Prescott could carry this team to the promised land, Jerry Jones has finally pushed all his chips into the center of the table. Love him or hate him, you can't deny Jerry's ambition. At 82 years old, the Cowboys owner wants one more ring, and he's willing to bet the future of the franchise on Patrick Mahomes to get it. And who could blame him? Mahomes is a transcendent player. Since entering the league in 2017, he's redefined what it means to play the quarterback position. The arm angles, the improvisation, the poise under pressure, the playoff performances. There's a reason many have already started placing him in the GOAT conversation, and he's only 29. Bringing Mahomes to Dallas instantly changes the outlook for the entire NFC. For the first time in decades, the Cowboys are no longer just contenders, they're the team to beat. Pair Mahomes with CeeDee Lamb, one of the most electrifying wide receivers in the league, along with a solid offensive line and rising talents like Jake Ferguson and Brandon Cooks, and you've got the makings of an offensive juggernaut. The Cowboys' already impressive defense will take a hit with the loss of Micah Parsons, no doubt, but the front office is banking on Mahomes being the equalizer, the kind of player who makes everyone around him better and erases mistakes with sheer brilliance. You have to admire the boldness. Meanwhile, the reaction from Kansas City is a mix of disbelief, anger, and sorrow. For a fan base that had grown used to Mahomes being the heart and soul of the team, this feels like a gut punch. This is the same Mahomes who brought the Chiefs out of decades of mediocrity and turned them into a dynasty. The man who made Arrowhead Stadium the most feared place to play in the NFL. To say goodbye to him now, in his prime, is almost unthinkable. But let's try to understand the logic from the Chiefs' side. According to insider reports, the relationship between Mahomes and the Chiefs' front office had started to strain over the past year. Disagreements over personnel decisions, offensive direction, and contract structure had created underlying tensions that neither side could fully resolve. There's also the question of sustainability. Mahomes' mega deal, while team-friendly in its early years, was always going to balloon. With an aging core and limited cap flexibility, the Chiefs were facing difficult decisions. Do they rebuild slowly around Mahomes, or do they take the nuclear option and reboot completely with a massive return? Clearly, they chose the latter. And you know what? As shocking as it sounds, maybe it's not completely insane. They now have 3 additional first-round picks, a defensive game-changer in Micah Parsons, and a veteran quarterback in Dak Prescott who can keep the offense functional while they figure out their next steps. It's a bold, ruthless move, something straight out of a chess grandmaster's playbook. But that's what championship organizations do, they think 5 steps ahead. And if there's one front office that's earned the benefit of the doubt, it's Kansas City's. Still, let's not kid ourselves, there's going to be a lot of second-guessing. Every incomplete pass from Doc, every missed tackle on defense, Every Mahomes highlight in a Cowboys uniform. It's going to sting. And speaking of Mahomes in a Cowboys uniform, can we just take a moment to think about how surreal that image is? The iconic number 15, now draped in silver and blue, playing under the bright lights of it&T Stadium, backed by the largest fanbase in the NFL. The media frenzy is going to be off the charts. Every game is going to be a primetime spectacle. Every press conference will be dissected. Every throw will be a headline. The pressure on Mahomes will be immense, but if there's anyone built to handle it, it's him. Remember, this is the guy who came back from double-digit deficits in 3 straight playoff games. The guy who led a game-winning drive in the Super Bowl on a high ankle sprain. He's been doubted before and he's silenced critics every single time. In Dallas, the expectations are clear: Super Bowl or bust. No more excuses. No more next year. The time is now. Cowboys fans are already flooding social media with celebrations, jersey pre-orders, and bold predictions. Some are calling it the greatest trade in franchise history. Others are more cautious, wondering what the cost will be down the line. But for the first time in a long time, there's hope in Dallas. Real, legitimate, championship caliber hope. And that's something you can't put a price on. Of course, this trade also has ripple effects across the entire league. The NFC East just became a battleground. The Eagles, Commanders, and Giants now have to deal with Patrick Mahomes twice a year. The balance of power in the conference has shifted. The NFC, which has long been seen as the weaker of the two conferences quarterback-wise, just got the best player in football. In the AFC, the path to the Super Bowl is suddenly wide open. Teams like the Bengals, Bills, Ravens, and Dolphins are licking their chops. Without Mahomes standing in their way, the road to the Lombardi just got a lot less daunting. But don't think for a second that the Chiefs are going away quietly. With their draft capital and a still elite coaching staff led by Andy Reid, this could be the start of a quick rebuild or a complete retooling around a new identity. They've defied expectations before, and they might just do it again. So, what does this all mean for the legacy of Patrick Mahomes? For years, he's been associated with Kansas City. He brought a Super Bowl to a city that hadn't seen one in 50 years. He made the Chiefs a global brand. But now, he has a new mission to revive the Cowboys and bring them back to glory. If he can win even one Super Bowl in Dallas, he will become immortal in the eyes of that fanbase. And if he wins more, we could be talking about the greatest quarterback of all time, bar none. The pressure, the stakes, the spotlight, it's all aligned for one of the most fascinating chapters in NFL history. We're witnessing something unprecedented. This isn't just a trade, it's a turning point. So buckle up, folks. The NFL season just got a whole lot more interesting.